Each trading day, Portfolio Armor selects the 10 securities it sees as having the highest potential returns over the next 6 months. A surprise inclusion in that list on Tuesday, at least to me, was Boeing. Earlier this year, I wrote an article quoting internal emails where Boeing's 737 MAX was described as, quote, an airplane designed by clowns, supervised by monkeys. And yet, here we are, with Boeing being one of the top 10 names on Portfolio Armor's daily ranking, which is essentially based on options market sentiment. So, why are options market participants bullish on Boeing? If I had to guess, one guess would be because it's part of a duopoly with Airbus when it comes to large airliners. So, as many mistakes as Boeing has made, it's got a secure position. And another speculation would be that it's essentially a play on normalization of the economy, the global economy. In part, some have speculated that COVID-19 lockdowns have a political aspect to them. So perhaps the feeling is that after the election, if it's resolved one way or another, some of those coronavirus restrictions will go away, more people will fly, go on vacation, that sort of thing. But there's a good chance that these options market participants who are currently bullish on Boeing are wrong. So let's look at a way you can limit your risk out past the election if that's the case. So here we'll open up the Portfolio Armor iPhone app, and we'll enter in Boeing's symbol, which is BA. And then we'll enter a number of shares. Here I'll just put 100. And then we'll enter the lowest decline we're willing to risk over the time frame of the hedge. Here I'll enter 20 for 20%, but you can enter whatever you like when you do this, whatever fits your risk tolerance. And we'll try our default time frame for expiration, which is a hedge going out the closest expiration to 6 months out, which in Boeing's case takes us to February 19th. And here you can see the cost of this protection was $1,440. That's to protect against a greater than 20% decline in Boeing shares between now and mid-February. And that cost as a percentage of position value was 9.18%. Now, to be conservative, that was calculated at the ask, and in practice, you can often buy and sell options at some price between the bid and the ask. But it's a little bit high. So one thing we can do here if we want to lower the cost is we can look at a shorter time to expiration. So if we're concerned about the election, we can pick the first expiration date after the election, which is November 20th. And here we see the cost of the hedge goes down to $455, or 2.9% of position value. Now, the annualized cost annualizes this to let you compare apples to apples across different expirations. And as you can see, for the hedge expiring in November, it's 18.26% of position value annualized. And if we go back to the one expiring in February, it's actually higher on an annualized basis, 22.5% of position value annualized. So let's go back to November for a moment and try one other thing to lower our cost of hedging. If we indicate that we're willing to cap our possible upside, here I'll use 20% for the cap, and we still want to protect against that greater than 20% decline, now we're presented with an optimal collar. And in this case, the net cost is negative $180. That means we will collect a net credit of $180 when opening this collar, assuming, to be conservative, we bought the puts at the ask and we sold the calls at the bid. In practice, we could probably buy and sell them again at some price between the bid and the ask. So that worked out to a net cost as a percentage of position value of 1.15% negative, and an annualized net cost of negative 7.22% of position value. So if you want to place a bullish bet on Boeing, if you want to buy Boeing shares here in the hopes of a post-election rally, this is a way to do it while making sure that your downside is strictly protected.